Shalom, everybody. Welcome to Deep Stories. I want to dedicate today's story in the honor of our soldiers of Israel and anyone who needs healing. May we only know good things in the safety of Israel and the entire world, for that matter. So today we're going to read about someone called Nachum Ish Gam Zu. What does that mean? Gam Zu means this too is for the good. He lived in the land of Israel. He lived under the rule of the Romans. He was a very holy man. Not only was he a very holy man, but he was a very wise Torah scholar. He used to say that whatever God does, whatever Hashem Almighty does, was for the good. That's what his name, Gam Zu Letova. It's also for the best. Even when bad things would happen, he would say, this too is for the good. Because people always heard him saying this, that's why they called him Nachum Ish Gam Zu, the man Gam Zu. So it happened that the Roman emperor at the time issued a very severe decree against the Jewish people. And the sages, the rabbis, decided that they have to have someone go and speak with the emperor to try to remove the decree. After serious thought, they decided who's the best person to go? Nachum Ish Gam Zu, because he always had miracles happening for him. The sages put together a beautiful collection of jewels and precious diamonds in a lovely treasure box and gave the box to this Rabbi Nachum Ish Gam Zu to bring it to the emperor. He had to spend the night at an inn on the way to the emperor. And the innkeeper was a thief, not an honest person. He learned about this precious gift that the rabbi was carrying. During the night, he stole the jewels and the precious diamonds, and he filled the box with dirt from the yard. So when Nachum, the rabbis, there was a few rabbis with Nachum, they opened the box before they brought it to the emperor. And the rabbi said, what are we going to do? It's full of dirt. So Nachum said, Gam Zu Letova, it's also for the good. And so they said, okay, what are we going to do? We have no choice. They brought it to the emperor, and the emperor was very upset. He sees this box of dirt, and they said, what is this, a joke? He screamed, I want to show you Jews what happened when you mock me. He said, throw this rabbi and the rabbis with him into prison, and we're going to figure out a way to kill him. Nachum said, Gam Zu Letova, this too is for the good. Meanwhile, there's a few different versions of how this happened. Some say that Elijah the prophet came to the emperor in a dream, dressed as one of his advisors, or it says that the advisor was actually there and Elijah came as the form of this advisor and says to the king, do you think the Jews would want to make fun of you? They want you to be good to them. Maybe this sand or dirt, whatever it is, has some special properties like the sand that Abraham, their forefather, used against his enemies. It says that Abraham threw sand on his enemies and it turned into like arrows and weapons. Maybe it's the same thing. So whether he woke up from the dream or whether he heard from his advisor, he said, you know what, let me try it out. They were in the midst of a war with some barbarians and they were having a tough time. And so he said, maybe there's a good chance we could be able to conquer them. His generals did it, and they were able to beat the barbarians. It was a miracle. This was like amazing weaponry, and they won. So he said, I want you to release Nachum, the rabbi, and I want you to give him the best room in the royal palace. Fill the box that he brought with valuable treasures, and he should be escorted with high honor. And we're going to do what his petition, what he was asking for, and the decree which we made on the Jews will be null and void. So on his way home, Nachum stopped for the night at the same inn as before. The innkeeper asked him, what did you take to the emperor that he gave you such a rich reward? He sees more treasure. He said, whatever I took when I left the inn, that is what I gave to the emperor. So the innkeeper thought, wow, he took sand? This must be special sand. Let me take this to the emperor. He takes it to the emperor. He says, this is the same sand and stone which Nachum the rabbi brought to you and which you value so much. So they tried it out, but no miracles happened. So now they put the innkeeper to death. And Nachum said, Gam Zu Letova, this was meant to happen. But the idea here on a deeper level is, Nachum, this man that would always say Gam Zu Letova, he saw that even if, God forbid, judgments are happening on a person, when we could say Gam Zu Letova, we can sweeten the judgments, we can sweeten the negative by saying Gam Zu Letova. It's a power in our mouth to bring positivity to the negativity. So Be'ezras Hashem, may we be blessed to always see the positive, and even in the negative things, may we say Gam Zu Letova, it's also for the good, and we'll transform these things into good things in our life and the world all around us. God bless you all.